means he's not actually alive yet.
Hope so.
I could be just dumb. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, well,
Let's talk trailer.
so we're going to start soon.
Soon, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I can
Relative
see it
term,
now.
though.
Okay, so
Oh, so start that now?
yep, go.
Okay. Welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. And this is going to be a special presentation of Hextech's Dual View with the TriForce Championship preview match. So, Cyrus, why don't you tell us what we're doing here today?
Yeah, as
Shit.
already mentioned, we're going to have a TriForce Championship preview match of 2 of our 12 streamers. And today we're going to see Gprime versus Mantic. Both are very good players. And as said, we have 12 streamers in the team tournament match, which is going to be held on the 1st and 2nd of March. We also prepared a little trailer, which we're going to show you right now. So, that was the trailer from the TriForce Championship. So, let's go back to the match of the day, Tale of the Tape. On the first side, we have Gprime, who's a 26 years old Canadian, and the deck he's going to play he calls We Want a Shrubbery. He made the 53rd place on the Hex TCG Pro Challenge Series with a 4-4 standing, and he's an awesome player. So definitely go check out twitch.tv/gprimetv to check out his quality.
And today he'll be going against Mantic from the USA, who's a 28-year-old playing a deck he calls Midnight Madness. He finished 35th place in the Challenge Series with a 5-3 record. So just a game difference between the two of them there. So not a huge leap. If you want to check out more about Mantic, definitely check out his stream at twitch.tv/Mantic. And what do you say, Cyrus? We check out the decks?
Yeah, definitely. Let's check out the decks. So on the first deck, we have Gprime. And Gprime is running a Wild Sapphire deck. And his key card, I mean the key card, his most important card is the Briar Legion. I just described it a bit, but let's be honest, the Briar Legion is his main key card. Briar Legion is a 2-cost, technically 0/0 card, and once you play it, all the other Briar Legions are getting +2/+2. So let's say he has one, it comes into game, it will become 2-2. Then he plays another one, then both of them will be 4-4. If he plays another one, all of them will be 6-6, and so on and so on. So this card is going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, his entire deck revolves around getting through Briar Legion. So that brings us to the next card called Briar Patch Conjurer, which then, again, makes more Briar Legions in your deck. So you can just keep increasing the amount of power that the Briar Legion gets every time you play one. So you have more and more. You get to 5, 6, 7. You just pump out a bunch of Briar Legions and just crush your opponent with them.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to have. You want more and more Briar Legions. Um, Also, he's running Time Ripples and Buccaneers. They have multiple effects. I mean, with the Time Ripple, he can probably bounce back a Briar Legion to play it, to just play it again. And this will increase the strength of all the Briar Legions that are in play and that will come into play. And also, he can use the Time Ripple for saving his own cards, like the Briar Legion, from an extinction and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Time Ripple also counts as like a sort of removal spell in that not yeah, it counts as a removal spell in that you can get through his Briar Legions as well as saving his ones from actual removal spells from his opponent, which just kind of gives him a little bit more consistency to his deck, which is one of the strengths we were trying to talk about. He can, with all the Briar Legions he makes, he has a bunch of draw spells such as Oken Ceremony and the Sensei to kind of get them back, as well as the balance spells to replay them if he really wants to, or just get through his damage.
Yeah, and the consistency of this deck is what makes this deck a very solid deck. I mean, you can face every deck you can imagine. You can face an aggro deck. You will just throw Briar Legions at his head, and the Briar Legions are 2-2, 4-4, 6-6, and an aggro deck cannot handle that. If you're facing a control deck, he can play Extinction, Murders, whatever. Your board will get cleared, but the next Briar Legion or other cards you're playing are big again, and that's also not a problem. So this deck is a very solid overall deck. Even weenie decks, let's say you face a weenie deck can be a problem for Briar Legion because it has no crush. But he's running 4 Wild Auras, so he will have that crush for his Briar Legions to get through weenies. That is what this makes this deck very flexible and solid against a lot of other decks.
Yeah, and like all that power and all those Briar Legions that just get bigger and bigger just makes a tremendous amount of pressure for like the control decks to deal with, and as well as good solid blockers to prevent a lot of early damage from aggro decks. But like if you have turn 3 Briar Legions to 2/2, which is kind of underwhelming, but then turn 4 if you slap another one, you have 8 power on the field. That's like a must extinction threat or must murder or whatever, must deal with threats coming out very fast. So it's just a lot of pressure early.
Yeah, we can see this deck has a lot of strengths, but it has a special weakness. It is especially weak against Curse of Oblivion. Let's say he's playing the first Briar Legion and he's facing a Curse of Oblivion, then it is his own Briar Legion and he has to rely on the Briar Patch Conjurer. If he cannot manage to get one, then he has a problem. Curse of Oblivion is like the hardest counter he can face. So yeah, that's a huge problem for this deck, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure, curse is a huge problem for them because if they fill up their entire deck, they extinction and curse Briar Legion after that, then a lot of their deck has been just kind of left void of its main win con. He still has the win con of Jadim plus Mastery of Time, which is obviously an excellent win con, but he's built his deck so heavily around Briar Legion that the ability to counter is still kind of easy. So if you counter magic at first Briar Legion, the second one's just a 4 cost 2/2, which is really just horrible. And then a 4 cost 4/4 is, okay. So it's still if you can counter the effects or take the Briar Legions out of their hands, you can really slow them down enough to where they're just kind of a subpar green blue tempo deck.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this can be easy to counter, but let's see what Mantic prepared to counter that deck. Um, of course, he didn't know what Gprime is going to play, um, and Mantic built the deck he called Midnight Madness, and this deck is a 5 threshold deck. It contains Diamond, Sapphire, Ruby, Blood, and Wild to get huge use of the Midnight Shepherd. Midnight Shepherd is For Mantic, the same, that is Briar Legion for Gprime. This deck is all built around the Shepherd, and let's say mostly built around Shepherd. And Midnight Shepherd is a high risk, high reward card. You have to pay 2 to get a 1/1, but if you have all the threshold of every shot, then it is able to to revive a card from the graveyard, and that's a huge effect.
Oh, for sure. Reanimation effects are very few and far between in Hex right now, so the ability to bring things back from your graveyard are just huge. And speaking of that, Xenoth's Inquisitor with the Ruby Gem is one of the bane of every Hex player's existence right now, because it basically just never dies. It keeps coming back to your hand and just keeps killing things. So that and Shepherd, just things that just can't actually be dealt with ever. It
Yeah,
makes things get.
especially the Xentus Inquisitor is, of course, running the Ruby Gem, which is dealing his attack power to a random enemy troop, so he will have a lot of board clear with this card. And the next point is the threshold fixing. He's also running Lixil, of course, which have been overworked. It's now a 3/3 invincible unit. Invincible it is still, because it was before invincible also. And but now you can play it, and you will have one of the threshold that is in your deck. And also he's running some more. He's of course running Shards of Fate. And yeah, he's also running that new artifact, Adaptive Infusion Device, I think it is, which is also getting a threshold from his deck. So he can get that threshold he needs for the Shepherd very easily there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you have to fix your threshold with the Shepherd decks because you need all 5 of them. It's a little difficult to do without that. So cards like Infusion Device and Lixil are just huge because a 3/3 body that also fixes your thresholds is amazing. Plus, if you have all of them, it's invincible. So it really helps you to get your thresholds not only in general but very quickly. So with these Midnight Shepherd decks, you need a lot of synergies. One of the synergies that he has in the deck is Shrewd Manipulation plus Midnight Shepherd. This one to me is very exciting because you're pitching two big fatties to bring them back with Shepherd as well as slow down your opponent. Obviously, this card is not played very often, and for good reason. Because ditching 2 cards is usually not what you want to do. But for this deck, it's exactly what you want to do. You want to be pitching your cards, you want to be bringing them back, you want to be slowing down your opponent to get to a point where you can bring them back.
Yeah, this the Shrewd Manipulation, I have no deck playing this card because it is very bad at all. I mean, this is one of the rare opportunities you see when it's being played, because you can have the Shrewd Manipulation, and let's say you have a Shepherd out, you're on turn 5, you have all the threshold, you play a Shrewd Manipulation, and on the next turn you can have an Eternal Guardian or whatever. I mean, you can have just a fatty on turn 5 or 6, and the opponent has to deal with it. This is a huge problem. And also the Midnight Shepherd is working very good with the removal he's running. He's running 4 extinctions, for example, and he can just kill the opponent's creatures to revive them with the Shepherd. So the Shepherd is, as said, his main key card in this deck, and it is synergizing with a lot of his cards.
Yeah, I mean the ability to use an Inquisitor to kill some 3/3 early in the game and bring it back with your own Shepherd later in the game is just something cool you can do, as well as extinctioning away their Eternal Guardian late in game and then bringing it back with your own Shepherd is just something kind of sweet to do with your Shepherds. Another thing you can do with the Inquisitor is powering it up with Mentalist. So Inquisitor by itself always is going to be a great card advantage because it comes into play and kills something, dies, and goes back to your hand. So every time it dies now, it's going to get pumped with the drawing a card ability from Mentalist. So first time it comes into play, it's going to be able to get pumped 1 time to be able to draw 1 card. Second time it's going to come back into play, it's going to draw 2 cards. Third time, draw 3 cards, so on and so forth. So eventually, once you cast him, even though if it's for 9, it's going to be a 9-cost 3/1 that potentially kills something and draws like 5 cards. So it's kind of insane.
Yeah, also the Mentalist is not only working with the Inquisitor, it's working with the Inquisitor very well, of course, but he also is running Corpse Flies. Corpse Flies are flying, and that means they can easily get to the opposing champion. And with the Shepherd, he can just jump block with the Corpse Fly, for example, to play it again. to get into the game with Shepard, it will be inspired again, draw 2 cards, and so on. And all the cards that he's reviving with the Shepard will also get inspired by the Mentalist. So this can be a huge card draw for him. So I would say we go to the matches once they are ready.
I'm ready for
So
it.
let's see how far they are. We have they're preparing at the moment, but
Yeah, they're still getting ready right now.
they
We'll be
should
ready in a
be
second.
ready soon. So what do you expect from this matches we're going to see?
It's hard because these are two decks that were very much created from the last patch. Both these cards weren't, both these decks weren't anywhere near. Well, I guess the green blue deck was kind of existent beforehand, but the fact that it revolves so heavily around what is his name? Briar Legion? Briar
Yes.
Reach Legion? There he is. Sorry, a lot of words there. Um, because it revolves so heavily around that card, it's just still very different from what you've been seeing in the blue green decks earlier.
Yeah, I mean the decks cannot be much more different, but I'm expecting to have some exciting games this day. Hey, and there we go. They're starting right now. So let's see. On Mantic's side, we have a kind of bad starting hand in my opinion. What do you think?
It, yeah, it's bad. I was trying to think of something optimistic to say, but no, it's just not very good.
I mean, the
He
good
kept
thing
it though.
is he has the Shepard already 2 times. That's pretty good, but he's missing all the threshold fixing. Oh, and he's keeping it. So, and on the other side, on Gprime side, we already have a Briar Legion very early, and on the next turn probably, if he gets another wild shot, we can see the Conjurer. So this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Mantic's hand, he was kind of thinking if he draws another blood, he's got a nice answer to a Briar Legion, but still a little risky to keep it.
Yeah, that's true. And there we see the infusion device, so he can choose another threshold that he needs for the Shepherd. So he's already at 3 from 5 threshold that he needs. And he's going to choose the Sapphire, so he's hoping for another resource to get the Mentalist into game to draw some cards. But he's still
It,
missing one resource there.
it is a little risky though. You kind of would like to have maybe gotten another blood there to play your Inquisitor and get another threshold to be able to get the Mentalist out, but fixing his resources is really what he needs to do. So I think he can just wait a little while and make the Inquisitor build up and get bigger and bigger later.
Yeah. Oh, I just see. I made a mistake at the calling. It's a 3 cost, the Briar Legion. I just see it right now. So we will have to wait one more turn till we see the first Briar Legion. And oh, there we go. There's the first Midnight Shepherd coming to the game. He just missed the resource drop, which is unfortunate for him.
Oh,
But
for sure.
yeah, I mean, let's say he could get another Blood Shard, then he would be able to play nearly his whole hand. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because now he has the Shepherd. He has to think about what other thresholds he needs to get other than the blood to get the Shepherd off. So I may have just held on to it there and waited for it to be able to have its ability active before I play it out. We
Yeah,
see the Conjurer come out there for him, which is a nice turn 3 play for him.
yeah,
Keep adding more
that's of course
legions.
the card. That's the card you want to play on turn 3. I mean, the next turn he can start tapping it. It will increase the counters, so he will get 1 Briar Legion, he will get 2, then he will get 3, and so on and so on. And as we can see now, Mantic has no answers for that. And you want to have an answer to get rid of that Conjurer because it's his main win condition to
Yeah,
have the
for sure.
Briar Legions.
And put it in there before drawing a card, which is a nice play by him to be able to make sure he has the extra chance to draw another Briar Legion.
Yeah, and now we can see the first Briar Legion entered the game, and he got 1 counter. So he will get 2 Briar Legions next turn, right?
Yeah, next time he taps this, can get 2 more Briar Legions into his deck, so he'll have a total of 6 now in his deck after this one.
Yeah, and that is
No,
this is a
6.
very good start for him. This is a very good start for him, in my opinion. I mean, he's already on 4 resources right now. He could also play his Mimic to copy a Briar Legion, so that would mean he will have 8 damage on the board already. 9 if you take the Conjurer in, but you don't want to attack with the Conjurer normally. Um, so this is not looking very good for Mantic at the moment, at the current state of the board.
The only bright spot is that Mimic has been changed, so now the card goes to his hand as opposed to being in play. So he'll have to Mimic and cast it, which he won't be able to do for quite a while. Because they changed Mimic to now the card gets copied but goes into your hand as a replica as opposed to being in play. So he won't have 8 power on the
Oh,
field
okay.
yet.
Ah, okay. I just missed that change. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the good thing for Mantic is that he already has nearly the threshold he needs for the Shepherd, and that will make him able to revive cards. The problem for him is there are no cards in the graveyard yet.
Yeah, he's still missing a wild though, which is unfortunate. But he if he draws a blood at any point, he'll be able to start casting cards from his hand, which would be nice. Still a bit far behind though.
Yeah, I mean he just draw another Shepherd, so he has 3 Shepherds yet, but he cannot really use them. And I mean he missed like 3 resource drops right now. And for Gprime, it's looking very good. He just missed no resource drop yet.
Yeah, he
So
missed no resource drops, and he has another Briar Legion in hand. He got 2 more in his deck, so he's in a pretty commanding position here, especially when Mantic is all shepherded up and nowhere to go.
yeah, now we see he just got another resource. Oh, he has another Briar Legion. So that means he will be able to play another Briar Legion now, which means he has 18 damage on the board in this state.
He's got him dead
This
on board
is
already.
huge. I mean, this is very difficult for Mantic now. This is very difficult for Mantic.
Yeah, I mean, he still has some outs. It's just not a lot of them, and that isn't one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, even if he would have drawn an extinction, he could not play it. He's still missing another blood threshold and a resource.
Yeah, we would have had to draw 2 cards, and one of them being 2 of them being resources and extinction. So
Yeah.
we need to draw like 7 cards that turn to get out of this. Just a blisteringly fast start from Gprime here.
Yeah, and here we see what you can do with this Briar Legion. This Briar Legion is a huge threat, and you want to get rid of it normally. And now we see the Buccaneer. Let's see if he's going. No, he's just going to bounce the Shepherd to decrease the block. Oh, and he got a time ripple, so that means no blockers for him. And yeah,
Yeah, it's all over now. Unfortunately, he kept a risky hand and was hoping to get a payoff, but it didn't quite pay off for him there.
yeah, that can happen when you keep risky hands. But there we saw the power of the Briar Legions, and that's 1-0 for Gprime.
Yeah, so now get these some sideboarding, which should help kind of favor Mantic a bit. I think here he gets some more answers for the Briar Legion.
Yeah, now
Which is,
now
the
that he
sideboards.
can sideboard, he can of course in his sideboard are 4 curses of Oblivion, and I'm pretty sure he will get all the curses in. So
At least 2. He may bring in all 4, but I could see at least 2 of them coming in.
So now they are thinking about what they should get in. They're not pretty sure about this. I mean, this is a hard decision. Sideboarding is always you have to sideboard in cards that you need against an opponent, and you have to have them in your sideboard. I mean, in this case, it's good for Mantic that he has the Curses of Oblivion, which are helping him a lot.
What would you bring in this matchup if you were Mantic? Just the curses, or
I would for sure get the curses in. I would get all the curses in, because in my opinion, the Curse of Oblivion is the best answer to counter the Briar Legion. I cannot see the other cards of his sideboard right now.
he's got murder. He's got inner conflict. What else has he got? I have the list here somewhere. Those are just ones I saw before.
Yeah,
What would you bring in if you're Gprime then? Go with that one because you can see his.
Yeah, I also cannot see that right now. But
Can't see that. All right, my bad.
I mean, what can you bring in? Gprime just dominated him, so he has to fear that he will encounter Curses of Oblivion now because he knows that he's going to play against a blood deck. Um, that's that's quite hard, I would say. You you don't want to change a running system. That is what you're going to say normally, but you can expect that you will face Curses of Oblivion now. So he should probably add a counterspell to at least got rid of the Curses of Oblivion later on. I mean, the problem is he has to pay 3 to play the Briar Legion, and he has to play 3 for the counterspell, which is nearly impossible. So that's a hard decision, I would say.
Yeah, I mean he's not a ramp deck, so he's not going to get to 6 very reliably. But another problem with that is that Curse is just so much counter magic is so much slower than Curse because Curse is when they play it on turn 3, which they're going to want to do with the Briar Legion, he's going to be able to get the rest of them out of his deck immediately. And only having 2 Conjurers is not really going to be able to counter the Curse as effectively as he may like.
Yeah, we will see what they do now. I mean, it's the deck they are running. Both of the decks are very good, and it could have run better for Mantic because he was missing so many resource drops, and I think he will show us now what his deck can do. And there we go. They are starting the second match now.
I mean, if he had a second blood that first game, it may have been a completely different matchup for the fact that he'd be able to kill off either the Conjurer or the first Briar Legion early. So,
I mean, Gprime had a dream startup. He had
oh
the
yeah.
Conjurer on turn 3, which is devastating for
Well,
Mantic.
he preferred on turn 2. It's a 2 drop, so he preferred on turn 2, but he had to drop it on turn 3
Okay,
because he
yeah,
didn't have the thresholds. But
yeah, he needed the threshold. That's right, and that's what you want to have. You want to have that Conjurer as soon as possible in such a deck. So for the hands, we have Mantic here. He it has already 2 different shards, and he's just missing a wild shard. He already has the Shepherd, so his hand is pretty good right now.
his hand is very good. He's got basically all the thresholds he needs. He just got the ruby that he needed for the spider, so that should be able to kind of slow down the deck of G Prime a little bit. But G Prime's hand is also very good. I mean, he's got a bunch of draw spells. He's got a Briar Legion in there already, plus a Jadim, which he only has one of. I don't know if he's had the second one in, but I know he has one in the main deck. So that's a nice grab for him early.
Yeah, also he has the Wild Aura, which is very good for the Briar Legion. So let's say he can play the Briar Legion on turn 3. And of course, he can counter that with the Inquisitor. He's just waiting right now. But yeah, he doesn't know that he has the Inquisitor already on his hand. So I think he will play it the next turn. And I'm not sure if he can expect that.
It looks like he's going to. I mean, if he wasn't going to, he probably would have played the Sensei turn 2, just to draw another card. So I'm assuming he wants to go to Briar Legion turn 3.
Yeah, that's. I mean, why should you not do that? You will always be. You can always expect the removal, but you should not play around it with the Briar Legion. I mean, the counter is still increasing for the other Briar Legions to be bigger.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the longer you wait to do the Sensei, you have a better chance of actually drawing another 4/4 Briar Legion later. So him waiting turn 2 to not play Sensei gives him better chances of getting the other Briar Legions later.
yeah, that's true. And so, but now he wasn't afraid of playing the Briar Legion because of the Curse of Oblivion. As said, he cannot expect him to have the Inquisitor, but the next Legion he's going to play will be 4/4, so that's no problem for G Prime then, because the 4/4 won't get killed by the Inquisitor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Briar Legion kind of works as an escalation card where you want to play them out
Yeah.
early just to, at worst, get it escalated. So your next one's a 4/4, the one after that's a 6/6. You kind of just want to keep them pumping out.
Yeah, you want to have that counter increase. As you're saying it is basically an escalation card. The more you play, the better they are going to be. Um, you could just name it escalation in some way.
Escalation Legion.
Yeah.
So he's
So
gonna draw a card here.
let's see if he's going to draw. He already has that counter spell ready. Or he just draw a resource. What he wants to see now is another Briar Legion. because he he doesn't want to have the Inquisitor attacking him, and that will make Mantic drawing some cards. And there we go with the Shard of Fate, so that means he will get his Welt now, and then his deck is going to start off doing its work, and getting the Briar Legions for him probably, because that's the only target for the Shepherd right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Bar Legion is going to stay at 2/2. That one counts as a 4/4. I thought it may for a second, then I realized it still only counts the ones that come into play under your control, so it'd just be a 2/2, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, no, it may be a 4/4. Is it a 2/2? I can't tell if it's a 2/2 in the graveyard. If it's a 2/2 in the graveyard, it'd become a 4/4, which is a nice body for him, but I can't see for sure in the graveyard there.
Yeah, I haven't played that, of course, and that's a rare situation. I mean, next turn we will see it if it will be 4/4 or 2/2, but I expect it to be 2/2, but I didn't see it. I'm not sure.
He's getting a bit flooded here as Gprime, which is unfortunate. He needs that third wild threshold to get his Redeem out, which is a not a key card for him, but it's definitely you never complain to have a Redeem, and he whiffs on the ceremony there. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and yeah, the ceremony didn't draw him a creature, and so now we see the opposite of the previous game. I mean, the G Prime is not screwed, but still he's now in a very bad spot because as I said, we see the opposite now. Now we see Mantic's deck running very smoothly with a very good starting hand, and also that G Prime's hand wasn't that bad. He still has a problem.
Yeah, I mean, also if you bring back that he could actually bring back the Corpse Fly to have it be drawing 2 cards, or he could bring back the Briar Legion and make it be a 4/4 that draws 2 cards. So that's really kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
Something that can take advantage of.
yeah. Now we see the synergy we mentioned at the start with the Mentalist and the Shepherd reviving, and the Corpse Fly will draw him 2 cards now each turn, and that's devastating.
And it basically countered his counter spell because he threw a counter magic at it, and then he just brings it back from his graveyard without even caring. So he just kind of countered a counter without being able to actually do so in the game right now.
Yeah, he just that counter spell was to save a card, but yeah, you have it now. The Corpse Fly will draw him more cards now. He will get more card advantage, and he has to think of a way to stop that.
And he's got an Inquisitor in hand too. So I mean, aside from a Briar Legion here, there's not really a whole lot that's going to be live draws for him. So even if he counters the Inquisitor after backing up his Briar Legion, it's going to come back anyway. So
Yeah, and now I mean Mantic is pretty safe here. He still has that Inquisitor in hand, which will get inspired 2 more times, so he will draw 3 cards each time he attacks, and he has that extinction in case of something very bad happens. Um, so now we see he just draw 2 cards from the Corpse Fly, which is an August, and another Corpse Fly, which is getting inspired, which will make G Prime drop another card, getting the card advantage, and that's not what you want to see there when you're a G Prime, of course.
yeah, he didn't counter it that time because he knew he knew it was kind of a
No,
lost cause at that
this
point.
time he didn't, yeah. But he just will get it back, and now the Shepherd will probably get that Bright Legion for him. Um, yeah, and that's very good for Mantic. This is what I meant when I said this is Mantic is going to show us what his deck can do.
I mean, look at how fast he got all thresholds too. Like it didn't even
Yeah.
take him 5 turns to get all the thresholds. It took him like maybe 2 or 3. So it just his deck's surprisingly consistent, honestly. I played a few games against a deck similar to this yesterday, and it's just like, you'd think a 5 color deck would not be consistent, but it really just does whatever it wants.
Yeah, the patch added a lot of good cards like the Infusion Device, Elixir, and that are cards you really need for such a deck. And it's working very good. So you cannot say different. It is working very good, and Mantic is going to show us how a 5 color deck is going to work. I mean, what
So
can he do at this situation?
I mean, he's got to just I don't even know. He's got all the answers in hand. G Prime's got to draw some way to deal with these threats, and I don't even think he has one in his deck, honestly. Can maybe mimic His Buccaneer, play it again. That's still that's 7 resources. Can't even do that. Um, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a very hard
it's
situation
it's
for him.
grim.
Ah, now we see it is 2-2. So
That
the counter for the Briar Legion counts just for himself.
that may
Um,
be a bug. It does say permanent +2/+2 when it on the card, so it should probably be a 4/4 because it should have the 2/2 on it when it's in the graveyard.
yeah, probably this is also a bug. I agree. But still, we're in alpha, so it could be, of course, a bug. I don't know if this is working as intended. If it says permanently +2/+2, it should be, but I also think this is the only Bra Legion that came into game. Yeah, it should be 4/4 probably. I agree.
Probably. I mean, it's hard to say. It does not like it matters at all. I mean, the games he had more than enough damage anyway. So
So that was fatal damage. Round 2 goes to Mantic. That means we have a 1-1 here. We'll see another sideboarding, and now I'm interested what Gprime is going to put in his deck to answer the Midnight Madness, because this was Midnight Madness for sure. I mean, this is, as you said, this is surprisingly very consistent. Okay, he had a very, very good start end to be honest, but
yeah.
this is how the deck should work, and he just finished sideboarding, I think. Yes, he's not going to sideboard anything. I mean, Mantic. Mantic is not going to sideboard anything because he's fine with that right now.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, Mantic's deck works like a combo deck. So you kind of have to be worried about what you take out when you put in because it could mess up the entire deck if you do it the wrong way. So I'm sure he feels confident with what he's done with his deck. So he's just gonna wait for G Prime to finish and just go back at it.
yeah, so right now Gprime added a Chaos Key, and it looks like he finished. He added a Chaos Key? No, he didn't save it.
If you have to save it, yeah.
So you want that
Honestly,
Chaos Key, I think, for what can he have that want that Chaos Key for? Probably an Inquisitor.
it's a removal spell for Midnight Shepherds. That's really one of the. It also gets rid of Inquisitor too. That's a fair point. Um, just he has no removal spells in his actual deck, so he kind of needs things like that to be removal for him. Honestly,
Yeah. So here we go, round 3, 1-1 right now. And on Mantic's side, we have a terrible starting hand. I mean, he has one resource, just the one Sapphire Threshold, but also on Gprime's hand, he just mulliganed because he had 3 Sapphire Threshold. And now he has even a worse starting hand with just 2 Sapphire Threshold. So,
I
also,
mean he plays
yeah.
26 resources, so I mean odds of him drawing a wild are pretty high. He's got 2 Briar Regions in hand, so it's not horrible per se, but he would definitely have preferred to have 3 resources in hand
Yeah,
or maybe a
that's my
Cat Magic or
playstyle.
so.
That's right. That's my personal playstyle. So, I always want to have 3 resources at least. But you're right. The 2 Briar Legions are a very, very good argument for keeping or for saying that hand is good. I mean, 1 Wild Threshold, and he can play that, and he will have 8 damage on board. So that's okay, of course. And on Mantic's side, he just also mulliganed. He also had a quite bad starting hand, so we will see now what's going to happen in that game.
Yeah, I mean, the first hand he couldn't have the draw again button fast enough. Honestly, he I'm sure once he saw it, he was like, I just ripped all these cards up and throw them away at this point. But the second hand was much better. He's got a infusion device, so he gets to fix the thresholds. Already got 3 of them, so that's pretty crazy for him already.
Yeah, now we see he's going to choose the Blast Threshold, of course, because he has the Curse of Oblivion, which is good. But what he doesn't know is that Gprime is already having 2 of his Briar Legions in hand, so just 2 would be gone. And 2 for 4 Briar Legions are still very good. If he managed to play them, he's still missing the Wall Threshold.
Yeah, Mantic obviously has no idea how good that Curse of Oblivion is going to be if he ever does cast it on a Briar Legion, because that gets rid of a card in his hand too. So that's going to be pretty good for him. My stream is a little behind here. So it looks like he's dropping Lixel here.
Oh yeah,
Right?
he's going.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's being counted. So that's about the Elixir. The Elixir would have been very good for him. I mean, he nearly has the last threshold he needs, which is the Ruby one. And so the Elixir, the next Elixir he's going to get probably will be invincible when he has that threshold, and that's awesome to have. I mean, it's just a 3/3, but it's invincible, and invincible is very hard to counter.
Yeah, it's a very good blocker too for the full four briar regions and stuff like that. It'll just get in the way.
Yeah, I agree. So he just ran another resource with his charge power, which is also, of course, good for him. And yeah, I mean, Gprime has the problem of the wild threshold. Now he has a conjurer, and now he has that wild threshold he needs to play at least the Briar Legions. But still, he's missing one wild threshold for the conjurer, which is also good to have.
Oh, for sure. I mean, now he can do briar legions as well as the ceremony as well. So that's also a nice card for him. He did get Curse of Oblivion to there. That's right.
So he cursed of
Should
Oblivion the Briar Legion, got rid of a hand from his of a card from his hand, not the other way around, and two Briar Legions from his deck, of course. But G Prime, it should not hurt him too much because he already has a Conjurer in his hand, so he has a sign of hope there.
Yeah, I mean, missing the second threshold is going to be
Yeah, of
bad
course.
for him though, because he has to cast it still. But if he can get it out there, he can start rebuilding his deck with it. So it's nice.
Yeah, let's hope we will have that wild threshold to play the Conjurer, and that's going to be a pain for Mantic to see that Conjurer entering the field. I mean, for now, he must think that he is kind of safe because he got rid of the Briar Legions. Of course, he got the Extinctions, um, but still, the Conjurer is a card you want to get rid of, and he would have to use an Extinction or being lucky with the Inquisitor to get rid of it.
G Prime keeps bricking pretty hard here. Got another Sapphire there. Still needs to get that other wild cast his Conjurer. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
going to just keep having to bash with the Briar region over here.
yeah, that's of course also a pain. But let's look at his hand. He has a Time Ripple, and the Time Ripple is going to save his Briar Legion, increasing the counter and make the Briar Legion replayable for him, and that's pretty good.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you can just make it a 4/4 so it can even get out of the range of things like Inquisitor, which he still can't actually activate, but he'll be able to do that soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think he will, of course, save the Time Ripple for the Briar Legion. What we see on Mantic's side is that he has another Elixir. He can have the last threshold he needs, which is still the Ruby. And also, he will be able to play the Inquisitor to kill this Briar Legion and forces G Prime to play that Time Ripple.
That's actually a bug there, though. Lixil should be 5, not 3. It was countered earlier. So you shouldn't actually be able to cast Lixil there.
Oh, oh, you're right. So,
That's unfortunate.
yeah, that's really unfortunate. But as we as we handled it in the first tournaments, the game is deciding what's right and what's wrong. So we have to accept it the way it is. I mean, it's not our fault. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure it's not done maliciously or anything, but
yeah,
it still sucks to say.
yeah, I know what you mean. I agree. So now he has that 3/3 invincible Elixir on the board, which is a good blocker for him, a good attacker, of course. Um, I mean, it's invincible. You cannot get rid of this. And he also has his Shepherd ready to revive all the stuff that he is going to kill.
Actually, Lixil's bugging out too. It doesn't show the invincible thing, so I'm not sure it's even fully invincible at this point. There's a little
Doesn't show
crown
the
saying it's
invincible?
invincible. It usually has a crown if it's invincible, but it's not showing it.
Oh,
It's been
yeah.
a bug where if it comes into play after the thresholds are or before the thresholds are established, it will not be invincible, which is unfortunate for Mantic a bit here.
So then I would probably recommend not playing Lixil at the moment. Before they fix it. I mean, this card seems
That's
to
still
be.
a fun card to play.
Yeah, of course, it's fine for having the threshold and stuff, but it's unfortunate that it's not invincible yet.
Yeah, I mean the bugs are gonna be there, so you gotta kind of deal with them. But still, it doesn't change much of the board state aside from that he's maybe throwing it away here. I wouldn't expect the Bar Legion to block it
Yes,
anyway, so
there
he's
we
not.
go.
Yeah.
And starting playing the Extinction, and there we see time rippling his own Briar Legion, saving it and replaying it to make it even stronger is a very good play. And yeah, it's not
Yeah, and
invincible.
there the invincible does matter because his Lixel will still be alive.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, pretty much. I agree. So that's unfortunate that that Lixil is still a bit bugged, and I hope they will fix it soon. I mean, I really really like this Midnight Shepherd deck. This is very interesting to see how good it works.
Oh, both decks are for sure really fun decks to watch and play. I haven't played much of either deck, but just looking at them, like you could tell these guys are just enjoying what they're doing. They just threw the decks together a few days ago to have fun in the match, and both decks are working just not surprisingly well, but just very well overall.
And that we see the quality of these guys. As we mentioned at the beginning, these guys knows what they are doing. And there we see it. The deck building is like the skill part. Of course, the playing is also skill, but deck building requires a lot of skill. And these guys are playing decks we haven't seen before. Of course, we have a new patch. Um, but also, I mean, yeah, you can build around the Briar Legion. You can build around the Midnight Shepherd, but the most people won't do it because these are very special decks.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you've ever watched Mantic stream, he's always playing these off the wall kind of kooky decks that always somehow just win and just do awesome things all the time. So he's always fun to watch on stream. And Gprime, from what I've seen of him, it always just takes decks that have already kind of been established and just makes them not per se better, but smooths them out and makes them maybe more consistent.
Spoof them out is a good word. Yeah, and G Prime is really, I mean, he's really not even behind now because he can still time ripple his. Oh no, now he's time rippling the Shepherd. I would probably have saved the time ripple for the Legion. I mean, he prevented the resurrection now, but still. There we
Yeah, I
go.
mean, I would have maybe used it to save my Legion, which is what I thought it was going to do, because you kind of have to play around cards like Murder or Extinction and such. So I probably would have saved my. I would probably use it as a counterspell to save my Legion, especially since that's the last one he actually has. But
Yeah, and
now he's
also,
overextending a bit into a potential Extinction,
yeah, and also,
which we know he has.
the time ripple would have not only saved his Briar Legion again, it would still have increased the Briar Legion. But now that we see the extinction is coming, and there we go, and there he lost his Briar Legion. He could have saved it, but he decided to get rid of the Shepherd for one more turn to prevent it from resurrecting. That was probably not the smartest move he could make, but yeah, you cannot always play around extinction. That's not working. So you won't win games by that if you only play against specific cards that the opponent probably not have in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, his choice was between hoping was basically just making it, if he had extinction, he'd bounce his own dude to save it, or he had to slow down his opponent. So a lot of times, what you want to do with your pseudo removal spells, such as time ripple and such, you want to be slowing down your opponent to get your damage through, and make sure you keep doing what you're trying to do. So he kind of got forced to do that by trying to get through the damage to kill him. So not really a bad play, but just unfortunate for him. We'll go with.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate choice. I mean, you could have played both ways, and you could not, as said, expect the opponent to have an extinction. So it was not a bad play, but it was the wrong choice here. I know, of course, we can see both sides, and you would not interpret this as a bad play, of course.
Yeah, I mean, us being omnipotent over here, we know it's not a great play, but
Yeah, we have the God view. We can just see both hands. So, I mean, we just have a huge advantage. And if you're in the game, I mean, we're watching the game, and if you're in the game, you're playing different. You can always say, "Oh, we could have done that better," but would you have done it better yourself? That's what you have to question there.
I mean, hindsight's always 2020, so we can't really talk too much about it because I've made my fair share of plays like that too, where you're just like, I'm gonna keep getting through damage, but eventually it ends up biting you by not having the spell earlier. But he's only one resource away from casting that guardian he has in his hand, which could be huge. Unfortunately, two spiders do deal with it, and he has the resources to cast both. I believe is that five? That spider,
That
and there's also got an
other
Argus too.
that other spider is 4. It has been bounced back.
Oh, it's balanced, yeah, so you can cast both.
That's right.
So
But you have to see. Let's imagine he will get a resource. He will play the Eternal Guardian, and right now Mantic has no answers for that. He can play both Inquisitors, but he has to roll the dice, let's say, and he can probably just hit the Buccaneer, which would be very bad for him.
oh, for sure. I mean, now he knows that there's an Argus in his hands. So the Doomsday device is just counting down and showing him, yeah, you can't really do much of anything once I get this out. So even if he can get Guardian out, now he knows in a few turns the Guardian will still be answered. So it's bleak, man. The Doomsday device is always going to show you demise early.
Yeah. Oh my. You just have to do it 1 second alone. My stream just Gprime stream is offline for me.
Well, that was a nice counter there. He goes to play the spider to kill the Buccaneer, and he in response plays the Wild Aura to keep his Buccaneer alive and keep the threat on the field. Unfortunately, he can't block this turn, so he's still gonna be able to draw a card off of the Mentalist. But keeping the Buccaneer alive is still something to keep in mind. You kind of want to keep your threats on the field if you can, and anything you can do to counter his spider effect, you got to do.
Yeah, I agree. We have some. Let's say I have some technical issues here. Gprime stream is off for me.
No, I guess he must have lost connection.
Is it for offline for you?
So yeah, it went offline for me too. It's fine though. We can talk about what's going on right now. So the spider's not gonna be able to kill the Buccaneer, and he's gonna be able to get 2 points of damage and draw a card still, because unless he wants to throw with the Buccaneer anyway, and kill a Mentalist, which isn't probably horrible. What do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna block with the Buccaneer, or you think he's gonna let the damage through and let him draw a card?
Yeah, he has to decide here what to do. I mean, right now the Buccaneer is safe. He will take 3 damage, which is like don't care. So that play of the Wild Arrow was pretty smart, especially if he managed to get that resource to play the Guardian. Then the spiders won't even kill the Buccaneer if they just hit the Buccaneer one time, and they won't kill the Guardian if they just hit the Guardian one time.
Yeah, I mean the Argus is still counting down to eventually remove the Guardian, but he could potentially draw some sort of bounce spells or just ways to outrace the Doomsday device there. It is at what 11 counters now, because it just showed one time, so he still has a bit of time before it's gonna come into play if he doesn't draw any more resources.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, I agree. He has some answers for that Argus. Of course, that Argus is answering the Guardian, but that Guardian can buy him some turns. And if he managed to bounce that back a lot, I mean, he has a lot of bounce back. He is running 4 Buccaneers. He's running 4 Time Ripples. So he has a lot of stuff to get rid of that Argus for some turns. And I'm not sure if he didn't switch his Nature Agents in, did he?
I don't believe so. I think he only brought in the Chaos Key, which is actually a way to deal with it too. So if
Yeah,
there's a
of
Chaos
course.
Key, you can actually slam Key and remove it then. He actually only has 2 of each left in his deck. He's already played 1 Buccaneers, 1 in play now, and he played 2 Time Ripples. So his answers are actually limited to 5 within 40 cards. So it's not a huge chance of which he's going to get them, but there's still hope is still alive. Hope is also that he'll be able to reconnect in a couple of minutes here because he got disconnected.
Yeah, I'm sorry that we managed some technically issues here, but he will come back. So don't worry, guys.
Yeah, I mean it's alpha for everything. The game's in alpha. We're still doing this in alpha, so um, you know it'll get better as time goes on. And these kind of technical difficulties happen with live things, so kind of got to just roll the punches here.
Yeah. So let's go, while we wait, let's go back to the TriForce Championship. We have some informations posted on the forums. Let me get that thread for you. I will post it into the channel, into the stream, I'm sorry, into the stream chat. And you guys may check it out. That are all the informations about the TriForce Championship, which is going to be in like around 2 weeks. It will be held on the 1st and 2nd of March, and we will have all your favorite streamers in there. And it looks like Gprime reconnected. Yeah, Gprime is back
Yep,
at the
reconnected.
game,
Nice.
and the reconnect works.
Side note, we know reconnect now works.
Yeah, that was a ninja patch. So back to the game. And so now he got that resource that he needs for the Guardian. And the Guardian is going to delay Mantic's play here, because he has to get rid of that Guardian first before he can do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he still has the answer in his hand of which to deal with the Guardian, but still going to be difficult. He still has what 3 more turns before he can even cast it. So that could still kill him if he can get in 2 attacks with a Guardian. So he's got to watch himself here. But now being on the block with the spider, he's going to take 3 damage still. But if he draws a resource, he should be able to recast both of them, right? That's actually no. He still has 2 resources to recast both of them too. So his answers are still there, but a little limited. He's got 2 more extensions in the deck, and Argus has to drop down a bit more before he can actually answer it. So we could see a nice turnaround here if he can get that Guardian to stick around.
I mean, he just draw a Shot of Fate, and the Argus is on 11 now, which means next turn he will be on 8 resources. The Guardian will be on 10. No, the Guardian, sorry. The Argus will be on 10 coasts. So Gprime still has some time here. And right now, he's on a 2-turn clock. Mantic. Mantic is on a 2-turn clock because he's able to attack with the Guardian and with the Buccaneer, and he can probably deal that damage he needs.
He could be on a 1-turn clock if he draws some sort of removal there. That attack was a little bit risky.
Oh, yeah.
Only one of them can draw on the card, so he probably should have just attacked with the 1, leaving the other one back to try to keep himself alive a little bit longer if he can. Because he can't cast both spiders now anyway. I guess they didn't inspire each other? Why didn't you draw a card there? Shouldn't you draw a card off that?
The second one was inspired, so but no. The inspire effect says when the opponent receives damage, so that attack was a huge misplay there.
Guardian prevents it. I forgot. Oh,
yeah. That's about the Guardian. I also missed the Guardian up all the time.
Oh, Guardian.
Yes, and also Mantic missed that up, and that was a misplay on Mantic's side here. He was thinking that he would get a card, like we both thought, and yeah, that's not it. He didn't deal damage to him because of the Guardian, and that can cost him the game, actually.
It could. I mean, he doesn't really turn because you can play Shepherd or Spider out here to try to give himself another turn to live, potentially draw an extinction or something like that. But again, it's a little bleak for Mantic here.
Yeah,
that misplay.
This misplay cost you the game. He's just receiving 9 damage now. He has no answers for that, and that's game for Gprime there.
Yeah, I mean, he could have given himself another. I'm surprised he didn't give himself another turn there playing at the spider. Even though it wouldn't do its value, it would still make him take 8 instead of 9, which is less than dead. So it's a nice little
That
tournament.
is always good. I mean, basically, health is a resource. You can go low and you can pay a lot, no problem, but you have to keep at least one. And that's about it. So that was a huge comeback from Gprime there. The Guardian bought him the game, and of course that misplay. We don't know what would have happened if Mantic didn't misplay that. Of course that can happen. Um, we also didn't think about the Guardian preventing the damage and the Mentalist not drawing the cards. And yeah, so there we see a simple misplay can make the difference.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he would have been allowed for what? He was on like a 3 turn clock there. He was at 12 and had to take, 3 attacks from Guardian in the air to actually get through. So he could have given himself a few more turns to potentially draw an extinction to get out of that situation, but he chose
it
the
was on 9, so 2 attacks would be enough.
yeah, okay. So he still had some time to wait it out.
Yeah, he just, as said, made that misplay there. Can happen, and but there we see the huge difference of for just one misplay that cost him the game, basically. So, go on to game 4. We see Mantic had a very bad starting hand again, as Gprime had. And,
Both these hands, man. God.
what? Sorry?
I said both these hands. It's horrible.
Yeah, and now, I mean, for Gprime, it's not looking as bad as for Mantic here. I mean, he has the blood threshold to play all his cards, but he has no diamond. He really needs a diamond for the elixir to get all the other threshold he needs. So I don't know which hand is better right now.
I think he kept this on the back of Oblivion alone. He needs to, as I said, he needs to draw the diamond, but he needs to draw resources in general to even have this hand be playable. He's got Extinction and Guardian, which are both usually want to be played later in the game, so he's got some time to play those two out. He really wants to get the Elixir out as soon as possible to try to fix his resources a bit, or his thresholds at least a bit. And the Oblivion was probably the reason he kept it, because again, we saw how good Oblivion was one of those games, but the bounce spells were still too powerful for it. Ooh,
Yeah,
drawing another one there.
I agree. So, and you don't want to mulligan to 5. If you mulligan to 5, the game is probably already lost because of the card disadvantage. I mean, um, we have seen both of the players had to mulligan there, but still, yeah, you don't want to mulligan to 5 normally. You don't even want to mulligan once, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure though, but a hand like that one where most of the cards in his hand aren't going to be played for a while, I may have thought about mulliganing. Again, I understand he kept it because of Lixil and Oblivion, but again, Guardian's a little bit something you don't want to see in your opening hand. I'd probably mulligan that away.
Yeah, that's true. In some situations, you have to mulligan, of course. Um, But as said, it's always a bad feeling if you mulligan because you know you have a disadvantage from the beginning if the enemy don't. And
Yeah, for sure.
that's not what you want normally. This is like this is like instinct. You don't want to give away anything. You're egoistic, so you want to keep what's yours. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah, definitely.
but of course, at some situations you just have to mulligan. It's always a bad feeling to do that. But it was balanced all the times because if one mulligan, both mulligan there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wishing they both. I think they're both wishing they can mulligan again now. Like, just get rid of these hands they have because
Yeah, that's
they're just drawing worse and worse every turn.
yeah, that's true. Oh, there we see a shade which is helping him, which is helping Mantic a lot right now. Um, I wonder why he got that ruby now. He can probably get that sapphire he needs next, but I don't know if I would have probably get the sapphire first, and then the playing the elixir, getting inspired by the mentalist. That could have been better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because and then you're gonna draw your resources hopefully off the Elixir. Plus, Elixir is a good card. So he won't really bounce it. For the fact that if he bounces it, then it becomes invincible for the most part. But there he gets to Curse of Oblivion and Briar Legion, which is something he just always wants to do if he can.
This is what you
He still
want
gets the
to do
one in
with the
play,
Curse of
but
Oblivion,
that's
of
fine.
course. You want to get rid of the legions there. And yeah, he just got rid of 3 of his legions. Of course, he doesn't know that he is preparing the Conjurer already. He just needs one more threshold, and then he can play the Conjurer, which is getting him the legions back. But that is exactly the target he wants to have for the Oblivion.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's got the counter in hand for it with the Conjurer, but just making him have to rebuild his entire deck and strategy at this point is good, especially because he's missing the second wild threshold for it, and he's gonna want to use the time ripples and stuff to make his dude bigger if he can again. So it just slows him down at least a little bit. It seems like he got the wild there again.
Yeah, that's true. But that you mentioned the time ripples. The time ripples make him feel safe at this point. I mean, even in extinction, he would not care. He would just save the conjurer, play it again, tapping it the turn after, and forcing the extinctions is always good. You want to have the opponent lost all his control cards against your deck if you're playing Troop Head.
Well, I mean, what's even better now is he has the counter magic for the extinction, and those are cards he probably wants to extinction if he can. Um, he seems like he's going to go away from that and go ahead and play the mentalist out here. I kind of would have thought he would have extinction there because that would be the last Briar Legion and a way to get more Briar Legions in his deck out of the way. He'd lose Elixir, but I think you'll take that trade off most of the time.
I mean, you're right. I would also have played the extinction. He cannot know that the opponent has a counterspell, but I think he expected that. And
He's probably playing around it there.
oh, but wait, just seeing it right now, he cannot play that extinction anyway. He's missing a resource.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. All right,
it just it's just a bit confusing there. I mean, it looks like he has 5 resources at this point, but
Yeah.
we're always forgetting he's got just getting this threshold, and that's too bad for him. That's why
Yeah,
he wasn't playing.
I'm like, no, I can just let an extinction. Regardless.
Yeah, that can happen. I mean, it looks like he has 5 resources already, but he's actually at 3. This is the same when you play Holding Braves and stuff.
Yeah, my eyes are kind of trained to look at the threshold counter for when your
Yeah,
resources
that's
come.
the
I
same
gotta
for
start
me.
looking down at the bottom there.
That's the same for me. So this can be very interesting, and we will see what happens now. Um, but probably it's not the worst for him to have not played the extinction because of the counterspell.
Oh
So
yeah, I
now
mean,
yeah.
having a second one in hand too, and missing all those resource drops. If you send the extinction there, the next one's going to take quite the while to get off. So you may want to wait for him to try to tap out or do something here. But he just may never tap out again. So that's kind of bad for him.
Yeah, of course this is bad for him. I mean, he's in a situation now where you don't want to be with your deck. He's just screwed the whole time, and he cannot do anything about it at the moment. I mean, he has no ramping cards, of course. Yeah, what will he do? He just needs more threshold for the Shepherd. He needs a Shepherd, of course. He needs this threshold to make the Elixir invincible and stuff and stuff. Oh, what is he doing now? He's playing a unique character?
Always playing a second one.
And why did he counter that? I mean, this Elixir is unique. And he would just killed the other Elixir or both Elixirs, right?
Well, I guess it would have no, it would have killed one. It would have killed the one that he attacked. Which is why he attacked first. But he would then be able to get the fifth threshold, which is kind of important.
Ah,
As
yeah,
well as
okay,
a
yeah.
blocker for next turn. So that's probably why he countered it there.
Oh, yeah, that's
Still,
right.
I would have probably saved that for an extinction or something that mattered a little bit more than just fixing his thresholds.
Yeah, I just forgot about the new Elixir, which is also giving you the threshold that he needs. Um, oh yeah, I mean the counterspell on the Elixir in that situation was okay, I would say. But normally, if the opponent, let's say he's missing a resource, okay, but you have to be afraid of facing an extinction at this point. So this is again a question of choice. did he do the right choice there? What do you think?
Well, I mean, because he missed so many resource drops, I think he can kind of not worry about it as much. But I mean, you'd have to think that because he's been missing resources, his hands are full of gas. So if he draws a resource instead of extinction, you kind of, you know, eat your hat in that situation. But again, I feel as though the kind of magic was a little bit loose. I probably would have saved it for something like an extinction or something that mattered a little bit more. Because though he can save his Briar Legion with the time ripple, he can't actually like countering the extinction would have done more value than just bouncing a Briar Legion off of a time ripple. So I probably would have saved for more value on that one. Now he's overextending a lot here
Oh,
by
yes.
doing that.
Now, as you said, he's overextending. Playing that Guardian in this situation is just crazy. I mean, why would you do such a thing? He could just have played the Mastery of Time, attacking twice. That could he could have done a lot of stuff. But playing the Guardian in this situation, I mean, he can expect him to have extinction now, and
Well, he
if
knows he
he's
plays it too, which is the bad part. If he didn't know he played extinction, then doing that's probably not horrible. But knowing he plays extinction and it has a hand almost certainly full of gas, probably a little bit loose play there.
yeah, that was probably a bad choice there to play that Guardian. Of course, now he's lucky, but it could have been different. He could have drawn a shard, playing an extinction, and would have turned the whole game. So that was overextending a lot.
Yeah, now he draws a Shards of Fate, so next turn he'll be able to do extinction. So as long as he can survive this turn, which he should be able to do, he'll be able to blow him out a bit here.
Uh, I'm not. I'm not sure if he can survive that. He is about to face a Mastery of Time, so and that's devastating
Oh,
for
that's
him.
true. I forgot the Master Time hand. I can see both, and I'm just not paying attention to both of them apparently.
Yeah, of course. We have the God mode on. But let's calculate. He can attack with the Guardian for 5, 2 times. He can attack with the Briar Legion. Um, and now he's going for a
He's got
full
more than
swing, of
enough.
course. He could double block the Briar Legion now, but yeah, and this is a tough choice. You don't know
Well,
if
he'd be dead either way. If he double blocks the Briar Legion, he still takes the 2, which is the important part. He's gonna take 10 regardless. So if he double blocks, he kills the Briar Legion, but he still takes the extra 2, which makes him go to 12. So either way, he dies. But I don't think he knows he's playing Mastery of Time here. So he's probably not gonna play as though he was playing Mastery of Time.
yeah, so yeah, that was a bad situation. Of course, he couldn't. Could he do anything to prevent that? I mean, he
Draw
had to double
resources
block.
really is all I could have done.
Yeah, that's he had no choice there. I mean, he could have double blocked the Briar Legion to get rid of it, but still, he would have taken 8, and the turn after he would take 1. He could block the Buccaneer, so he would take 6. No, that would still be game. So he had no choice there, and that was already game the turn before.
But at least there's no more in his deck, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, just a play for good manners, I would say.
The little victories there.
So,
So was that 2-1 now for Gprime?
oh no,
Or was
that's
that
a 3-1 for Gprime.
3-1? Wow.
So yeah, that's game.
What we
Even
got
time rippling the Lixil here.
here? Just for ruggins, I guess.
So, and there we go for fatal damage. Game 4 goes to Gprime. Gprime 3-1 in the best of 5. And that's the overall win for Gprime there.
Congratulations, Gprime. I knew his deck was solid looking at it from coming in, but I didn't think it would be as powerful as it turned out to be. I mean, he got Curse of Oblivion twice and one off the back of just one um, Briarcliff Legion, whatever the guy's name is. I can't get it out.
I mean, I wasn't. I was. I had no favorite in this game. Both players are very good. Both decks were very, very good. but I expected the Midnight Shepherd deck to be better in this lineup, especially running the Curse of Oblivion. But let's be honest, Mantic had some bad luck there, not drawing the resources he needed. He just drew a Shard of Fate, and that was unfortunate.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Gprime overextended like a boss at the end there. If he had drawn an untapped resource there, he would have just blown him right out and probably have taken the game because I mean he had a bunch of Briarcliffs in his deck, but one card in hand was like a Master Time and a Time Ripple, so it wouldn't have been such a big thing. Plus, he had a second extinction in his hand, so I think if he was able to cast that first extinction, he would be able to take the game potentially. But unfortunately, he couldn't get there, and he got ran over by the overpowering Briarcliff Legion there.
Yeah, as said, it was very unfortunate there. It could have been the other way, but yeah, what will you do in such situations? I mean, sometimes you have luck, sometimes you have bad luck, and we're trying to get Gprime and Mantic to talk about what they thought about their games.
Hey guys.
Yep.
I gotta say, in that last game, more than anything, I was praying that he didn't draw a resource for extinction.
I didn't.
I was just
I had
scared.
if you saw, I had 2 in hand, 2 extinctions ready to go.
Yeah,
that's what I was worried about.
Gprime, explain.
And then I drew the Shard of Fate instead.
Yeah.
Gprime, please explain why did you overextend with playing the Guardian there? Did you just want to finish it next turn, knowing that you have the Mastery of Time, facing the risk of an extinction, and probably losing the game from overextending there?
Honestly, that was exactly it. I'm kind of scared of Mantic's deck when it ramps up. Once he gets all of his cards out that he needs to, keep iterating cards from his graveyard and keep those Lixil Gem, was it the white invincible troop? Once he's got all of his threshold, once he ramps up like that, I'm done. Like it's over. I mean, you saw that in game 2, I think it was. So I felt like I had to end it, and I saw that he was stuck on 3 resources. I was praying that he wasn't going to draw another, and I think, I probably still had a good chance had I not done that. But I wanted to end it as quick as I can. I was nervous.
Yeah,
that's the reason your teammate is my heroes, right? Mythic's heroes, because you're just
Mythic's heroes.
So amazing at doing that.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, I mean, we had the God view, so we know what could have happened, and it's very different when you play it, of course. I think you will watch the replay of all the games. We had very interesting games, and let's go to game 2. Mantic just destroyed you totally, showing you what a 5-color Midnight deck, and just
no punches.
It just displayed you in your face what Midnight Madness means, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think I countered or I bounced or killed one of his cards.
You countered one of the corpse flies, which I thought was interesting. After I had 2 2 mentalists out, and then I was like, "That's fine. I'm just gonna bring it back anyways. I'm still gonna have. You're still gonna discard, and I'm still gonna hit you and draw 2 cards off of it."
After I saw that go to the graveyard, I was like, "Oh shit! This is the worst decision I'm gonna make this game."
Yeah, that was a huge misplay there, but I mean, it can happen. But
not as big as my misplay.
When we go to misplays, Mantic, let's go to game 3. You attacked with your both mentalists. So one of the mentalists was inspired, and when we
it didn't matter because he had an angel in play.
Right. When we were talking about that, we were like,
I derped hard right there. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I hope he reconnects. And we get in the game, he plays that, and then I think maybe I was thrown off. Or like I was just totally out of it. Like,
I understand why you attacked with your second mentalist. Seriously, we when we talked about it, we were like, why didn't he draw a card? And then I just realized
the angel.
I just realized, wait, he didn't take damage, so why should he draw a card? But you just attacked with the other mentalist. That was like just
my only other option there was to well, I figured if I attacked with both, he might not want to block Glenn. Like he might not even think about the card draw part. He might just think that I was trying to get him to block with Angel or something and to play Inquisitor, which would have been nice.
Yeah. If
And
you
then,
actually
so
got him to get that
yeah.
3 damage on the Guardian, yeah. That's why I didn't block, and I was thinking to myself for a second, so if he hits me, he's going to draw cards. If I block,
so we all forgot about it, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all forgot about it. I mean,
I don't
We
think
all
the chat
forgot about
forgot
that. It doesn't actually draw any cards.
yeah,
Okay.
this is what Hex is about. Hex is a very
Yeah.
complex game, and
yeah.
that are the situations where it comes to think about what you're doing, and it can happen. Seriously, it
But
can
honestly,
happen.
that's what
I
makes
kind
it
of just
so
gave up
interesting.
on that.
There's so many, there's so many different ways that the game could go. It's so complex, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I mean, if we go to game 4, you could have lost that easily if the Shard of Fate, which is a resource, would have given him the resource immediately.
Yeah.
If it was another resource, I'm pretty sure you could have lost the game easily because your hand was like Time Ripple, Mastery of Time, no creatures, bam.
That's right. Yeah, if he had Extinction there, I would have lost. Like, really, the smart move there would have been to just sit on my Mastery of Time, sit on my Eternal Guardian until I can definitely afford to protect him. Because I had Time Ripple, right? So, I mean, 2 more resources and I could have played him safely. But,
Yeah.
like I said, I got nervous. I was scared of his deck ramping up. I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you played the way high risk, high reward, and you got rewarded. You took the risk, and yeah, what can you say about it? I mean,
Well, that's actually kind of this deck. Like, it is sort of inconsistent with the Briar Legions. You need to be able to get them out. Like Mantic was doing, he was using Curse of Oblivion on them, and that really hurts my deck. So I could have been put in a rough shape by that. Like, the reason why I've got so much bounce instead of 4 Conjurers is because they're so much more efficient at iterating that damage and making those legions more powerful. But yeah, if you don't have the legions, then you're screwed. And as you saw, every game, I had the worst luck with Oakhenge Ceremony ever. I probably played that 5 times and got it to work once.
Interesting. Yeah.
But what was cool
I
is that
thought it was interesting. Oh, okay, go ahead, Myth. Commentators first.
What I liked is that your deck was still resilient enough to get around cards like Curse of Oblivion. We got Curse of Oblivion twice and won both of those games with just on the back of one what's his name? Lachlan's Legionnaire, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't he win the games off of the Guardian?
Mostly Guardian.
Yeah, it was mostly
actually,
Guardian.
he still got a bunch of damage in off that guy. Like he got the damage in for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eternal Guardian's only not a main deck for me because I feel like Artifact Hate is so popular right now. And I was worried about having that in the deck if I'm just going to get him destroyed. So I saw that there wasn't a lot of Artifact Hate in Mantic's deck. I mean, the only card that he's got to get rid of it really is Extinction that I saw. So it
would be Extinction or Argus.
Or Argus.
Or like, I was thinking maybe if I could kill your Buccaneers, I could probably take advantage of those. But the one game I won, like, wasn't even really reanimating that much. I was just like, an onslaught of corpse flies, and then the other games I just stalled out. I stalled on 2 in game 1, which is just terrible. Like, to open up the tournament, I'm just sitting on, I get 2 resources in my opening hand, and then it's the last I see for the entire match.
Yeah. There's a lot of threshold fixing in that deck, so you can play whatever cards as long as you have the resources for it. And
as long as you have, like, thresholds are not a problem. It was resources actually being drawn.
What
was a problem.
What got me ahead in those games was you not being able to play your cards, like, pretty much straight up.
Yeah, I mean, you both had really bad luck most of the games. Like, you both had Mantic mulliganed almost every single game, I feel like. And Gprime mulliganed at least 2 of the 4, right?
4 to 5. I'm mulliganed 4 to 5 games.
4 to 5. Oh, so even worse than I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys had kind of really bad hands every time.
You both just mulliganed nearly every game, and when one mulliganed, the other mulliganed too. I was just wondering why Mantic kept his in the first game, the first hand, where you had 2 resources, and you were screwed the whole game. That was a risky hand to keep?
It's not like I usually keep 2 resource hands because a 1 resource hand is unplayable, a 0 resource hand is unplayable, and a 2 is probably as good as you usually get. Like I very rarely mulligan and get like 3 resources. It's either 2 or either your first hand has like usually like 3 or 5 or something stupid, like way too much or just enough. Um, or it has like 2 in it. If you mulligan from 2 resources, you're more likely to get 0 or 1 from on the next subsequent draws.
Yeah,
Like that's what I've
I mean,
noticed. So two
you
two
have
and
to
hoping for a
remember.
third is pretty good.
Yeah, you have to remember that when you mulligan, you're only drawing 6 cards the next time, and your
Yeah.
most likely hand drawing 6 cards off of like a 24 shard deck is 2 shards, right? So if you have 2 shards in hand, it's almost, I mean, unless your hand's unplayable otherwise, it's probably the best thing to keep.
And because I had color fixing in that hand, it wasn't unplayable. Even though I had, was it like a sapphire ruby, I could just drop down the uh, adaptable device and get my blood that I need for the cards. But the fact that I didn't draw any shards at all was more of a problem than the colors.
Yeah, but you both
Yeah, I mean,
showed
it's
up.
amazing how fast you guys can get the threshold together though with that deck. Like
Yeah, it's
a turn
ridiculous.
3 you can have 5 thresholds immediately, which is really cool.
Or I had like 5 thresholds with only 2 resources.
Yeah,
Just kind of
it's
ridiculous.
just really powerful and really fast.
It was definitely a cool deck to play against. I'm glad that we both played, not maybe tier 1 decks, just something that's new, something that's interesting, and using cards that came out with the last patch.
Yeah, and I would
Yeah, we were
say
saying at the beginning.
you both played very special decks that are not going to be very much around. That were
Absolutely
very
not.
interesting. I mean, your decks couldn't have been much more different, and it was very exciting for us to watch these games. And at this point, I of course want to thank you guys. You just showed that you know what you're doing, as we mentioned at the beginning, and it was very exciting for me to see these games. And yeah, it were just good games. We didn't have any game that were very boring. And yeah, your decks are very good, and I'm pretty sure I will steal your decks.
Okay.
Right on. It was great to be
Well,
part of this. It was really fun.
So you
Mantic,
have
you want to tell us about the infinite combo you had at the beginning? Your original deck had an infinite combo in that. You want to tell us about that real fast?
My original deck that I made was less competitive than this one. It was mostly it was actually more of a sapphire blood than a diamond blood. Or this one is more like I guess this deck is more like blood based, and then everything else is splashed. But yeah, it ran. I called it Jenkenstein, and the combo was I'd get out. I'd use sniper, and I'd use the shepherd to get out the sniper to do damage to the opponent. And when I had the mentalist out, it would trigger him, and then I would use the shrewd manipulation device to discard cards to ready my shepherds to do it again. And eventually, with enough inspire triggers from mentalist, I would start drawing 3 cards whenever the sniper dealt damage to the opponent, so I can indefinitely deal damage to them. And
Ultimate
I
Johnny
had
combo deck.
totally Johnny. Like there's like a 6-card combo. So
I
it
love
was,
decks
that's
like
why
that.
it's called that's why it was called Jenkenstein. But it
Nice.
was really funny. I was playing against people. And it was pretty hilarious. And the thing is, it required too many pieces. Like I had to have a what's it called? The
Manipulation.
not the manipulator, the other one. The conversion, hideous conversion. I had to have some
Oh.
kind of sack outlet so I can keep trashing the sniper. And that was like the only problem was I needed to have both manipulation and hideous conversion and a mentalist and a shepherd. And it was just way too many cards, but it was hilarious to play in casual. And like
but a very
there's like
interesting combo.
there's some hardcore decks that were having problems with it, like control decks. Like they they try to kill a shepherd, and like in response I tapped the shepherd to bring back a sniper and drew 3 cards, and then drew a counter spell and just countered it out of nowhere. Like I had no cards in hand, and I was just like, I'll just use shepherd and bring this guy back. And drew 3 cards, and then once I get to hideous conversion, you just go infinite. You get infinite resources, do infinite damage, and you draw your deck.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
But super janky. And I kept the
I
3
definitely wanna
copies
try
in
that
the.
now.
So
I definitely kept the 3 copies of Shrewd Manipulation, even though people don't like it in this deck, because it's needed to really get the things like the Guardian or the Argus into your discard pile. And that's the one thing I noticed too. None of the games did I get Shrewd Manipulation out, which would have been nice with the Shepherd. I could have rezzed all the creatures.
yeah,
Yeah, with that
everyone's
Shepherd deck, you have to play really carefully because anything that you send to your opponent's deck or your opponent's graveyard, that could come against you real easily. Argus is one awesome example because he's so expensive to cast. You can get him out for free with Shepherd.
Yeah, and I really like it with Manipulation because you just toss Argus straight into the bin and then bring him back.
I
You know
mean,
what? That's what makes it interesting that with Corpse Fly you can actually target now. You can choose which champion, so you can throw your own cards to your graveyard and then bring them back.
I had a game where actually I was playing someone and I played I resurrected a Corpse Fly and targeted myself to discard the sniper.
Yeah, as said, we had some very interesting games there, and hopefully we'll see. I mean, we will see both of you playing in the TriForce Championship, and probably you face each other again, and we will see the Infinite Combo from Mantic.
Yeah, I'll go Infinite. The deck will be ready.
You have anything to say left? Of course, I want to thank you guys for being here, doing that stuff. It was, as said, very entertaining, and people definitely go check out Gprime and Mantic when they're streaming. As said, as you could hear, they have probably the most weird decks in the world, but actually they're working. So definitely go check them out. They're showing you what you can do playing hacks and what you can do when you build a deck and play a deck. So you have anything left to say?
Oh, just thanks for doing this. It was awesome to be part of it, and it was really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it now in recording.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, time to go back and watch all the criticism of my play.
Don't go with Mantic.
I'll watch it on repeat over and over again. Go over my failures.
I mean, you will
me say you do bad plays do bad though.
You will find game 3 when we both were like, "What the fuck? Why didn't he draw a card?"
Yeah, I thought it was funny that even Prime was like, "Why didn't he draw a card?" Wait.
So, Mystic, anything you want to say?
Well, I just want to say, if you guys, again, Karn posted it in the chat there. There are 2 streams, but both people, I watch them both all the time, and they're just a wealth of information with Hex, and they always have these not off the wall decks, but always very cool and very unique decks, and they'll always give you plenty of information that you want to learn from Hex. So definitely check them out.
My decks are definitely unique.
So
it's a nice way to put it.
I will take the last word then. As said, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for participating and showing the Hex community what we're doing, and what you're doing, what you're playing. I mean, we're all delivering stuff to watch from Hex, and yeah, thank you for joining. I cannot say it much more different. And I want to use this opportunity again to remind you all for the TriForce Championship, which is going to be held on the 1st and 2nd of March. And yeah, with these words, we're out. We thank you all for tuning in, and wish you a nice evening, nice day, or whatever time it is for you. And you can see the trailer again, and there we out. So goodbye, people, and have a good time.
And you are awesome.
And you're awesome.